Hello, everybody. This is Chris Ellis, Card Guy, and we're going to talk about Chris Ellis, the Comic Bin. We're going to talk about comics. I'm going to do this hopefully once a week, talking about favorite comics of mine, heroes, storylines from the comic books that I collect, and if I read a number one comic, I might give my interpretation on it. So let's just see how everything goes on this first episode. And we're going to talk a little bit. I've been collecting comics heavily, probably since about 90, 91. I mean, I would collect them every now as a kid. I go with my dad at the comic shop, mostly buying Star Comics, which was a thing of Marvel at one point, where it would have like Masters of the Universe, Silverhawks, Thundercats. They even had Strawberry Shortcake, some other cartoon ones. But every once in a while I would get a hero comic. I mean, my first one I remember buying for sure was Batman 400, which has always been one of my favorite issues. It also has a two-page write-up on the back of the front cover and on the front of the back cover, the back cover of the wraparound cover, also written by Stephen King. So it's also drawn. There's like a bunch of different artists of that era at the time drawing different panels. So the art's changing throughout the comic book, which is kind of cool in some areas. I mean, I think there's only one of them that I don't really care for that much, but 400 is an excellent issue. Basically, it's all of Batman's villains escape Arkham in one night, all of them, and start raiding around the town. So if you're interested in Batman, or just like any of the Batman villains or anything, that is a good one to get. I'm just going to go over who my for me growing up, I was never like the popular heroes of the time. I wasn't. I mean, I love Captain America. I like Captain America. I like Steve Rogers, but I like him better as the Captain than I do as Captain America. Black Panther, I've always collected. I even have the first appearance in Fantastic Four 52. Took me a while to get. It's not the best condition, but it is Black Panther's first appearance. And he was not popular at all, not like today, where every kid and their mother is a Black Panther fan all of a sudden. Also, I'm a big Colossus fan. I think he's one of the most misused or opportune characters that sometimes. I mean, there have been storylines with him and his, fighting his sister finally after many, many years. His love interest at the time, and all that. But I think he's really misused in the X-Men movies. I don't know if he was misused in Deadpool that much or not, but that's here or there. Also, I like Night Thrasher, the original version from the New Warriors. I love the New Warriors comic. My wife actually bought me a complete run, including variation covers, which was really cool. Because my comics at one point, my mine and my dad's, who my dad had some really good ones, got stolen when we went on vacation one year. So it's just one of those things. Ghost Rider, I've always been a Johnny Blaze fan. I like Danny Ketch. He brings a different aspect of the character of Ghost Rider, but as a Ghost Rider fan, Blaze is my guy. I remember Moon Knight when he only had one multiple personality. He has progressed over the years as the character and the comic. Sometimes it's hard to tell if he's talking to somebody real or not. I heard mixed reviews so far of the series, but Moon Knight has always been one of my favorite characters. Out of villains that I really like, I love Kraven. Kraven the Hunter has always been one of my favorites. I love Wolverine's son, Draken. Ronan the Accuser, if he's done right, not like he was in the movie. Juggernaut for the X-Men. I think Juggernaut, as being the half-brother of Professor X, is one of the best things. And I like Green Goblin, but I'm more of a Hobgoblin fan. I like how the Hobgoblin later on became a Goblin. He was one of those. You got Hobgoblin, Green Goblin, and you got um, the pumpkin. Damn, I can't think of his name right now off the top of my head. That all fly on some type of form of jet glider. So on the Marvel side, that's who, if I see a comic and I think I'm going to get it, I'll probably get it because of those. For the DC heroes, I've always been a Shazam fan. I think Shazam is great. I like that, he keeps the mindset of a kid in a giant hero form, which is kind of different than what he originally was. Because when he became became an adult hero, he was an adult. DC kind of changed that. Cyborg has always been one of my favorites. T-Titan member in 52, they made him an original member of the Justice League, which I thought was a mistake. I like Cyborg. I like that a great athlete also gets injured, and his dad tries to give his son a new life and a new hope. And his son, for a while, is not liking that he's a machine, but he does have a human quality, and he still has a heart and still has a mind. So, and he's very scientific. One of the better scientific heroes of the DC. I love original Firestorm. Just that concept. In the late 80s, they made him into like this fiery heat guy at the end before he, ended the series. Okay. I know they were trying to get, new people in to get into the comic, but hey. Booster Gold, I always liked. I liked the idea that the guy was an actor trying to make, these hero scenes so you can be a hero, stealing all these items in a museum like the Legion ring and all that. A good teammate with the original Blue Beetle. So, and then my fifth, I could go 6 through 10 too, but I just did my top 5. I never really cared for Dick as Robin, but Nightwing I've always liked. I liked when he went, got his own uniform, became his own man. And then when he got the cowl later on, when Batman was in his state of multiverses trying to get back, I guess you would kind of say, he was the right person to wear the cowl, and I know he doesn't want to. He's never wanted that responsibility because he doesn't think, he doesn't want that part at all, DC villains, I got a lot of Joker stuff, a lot of Joker memorabilia. However, Joker is not my favorite DC villain. So, the only reason why I got a lot is because he's the only one that comes close to Hush. Hush is my favorite DC villain. The Hush storyline that they made in the Batman comic is great. Thomas Elliot, former friend of Bruce, gets his parents killed thinking he's going to become this millionaire where Bruce is at, have all this stuff, and then becomes his most arch enemy. I love Ra's al Ghul, Black Adam, and Deathstroke. Though you consider more Deathstroke now more an anti-hero towards the vein of Punisher. Deathstroke's just one of those guys that has that complex. You give him a bounty, he's going to go for it. It doesn't matter who the bounty's for. It's a good guy, bad guy, or a machine. He's going to go get him. So yeah, that's where on that. I don't mind hearing you guys who you got. I put Joker at 5, but Raz is one of those guys. The Court of Owls is excellent. The whole storyline is great. Just reading 1 through 10 of Batman 52. If you ever get a chance, get the Court of Owls series in trade. It's got it's just excellent. Talon, who's a new character, comes from that. So just look, if you're into that, look out on for it. But yeah, so every week I'm gonna try to do a different comic that I collect or collected. Um, Next week I'm gonna show you some of my GI Joe comics I have and some of the ones newest. IDW will be ending its run at 300 issues, which is going to be interesting. I'm hoping that Marvel will get the comic back, because from my childhood, the GI Joe toy, the comic, the vehicle, the cartoon, big GI Joe fan. Snake Eyes is one of my favorite characters, which he's a very popular character anyway. But there's other characters in the GI Joe universe that I love, and villains. There's some villains out there too. Yeah, 300's going to be it for IDW, because they continue the series where the series stopped at Marvel. So it's going to be very interesting how they do that. So right now I'm just going to show you. I got some graded books. I don't get them graded. I might start getting some, but I picked up a 7.5. This is the Starjammers, Tigra, Deathbird, and Brood appearance. Starjammers, the guy on the front, is actually Cyclops' dad, if you didn't know that, and Havoc's dad. So, and it's pretty cool because on the back of it, it has the old Lone Ranger set you could order and buy. As a kid, that was always cool because I loved the Lone Ranger movie back in the 80s. So that was always a cool thing and everything. Next one is going to be, let's see, I have another Marvel one, so I'll do the other Marvel one. This was my first one I ever got. My wife got it for me. And this is actually the return of Jean Grey. Captain America and Hercules make an appearance. And the formation of the X Factor begins here. It's, of course, a John Byrne story. Byrne and Terry Austin did the cover and the art. And there it is right there. It's a nice one. Nice 9.6. Also on the back of it's got the GoBots and the Quick. I don't know anybody remember the GoBots. I do. I had some. They were like the cheap version of Transformers. It's like Hot Wheels and Matchbox. If you couldn't afford your Transformer, you went with the GoBots. Next one I got is a Shazam #1 DC Comics. This is a four limited series. I got for a good price for $25, basically $24.95. As you can see, variant cover. I love Shazam. I think, one of the great heroes of all time. If another story, if you ever get a chance, always read. Oh shoot! Now I can't remember it now. It'll come to my head in a little bit. But and then my daughter and her boyfriend got me variant cover of Spawn 310, who is my favorite comic to collect, because unlike most of the comics nowadays, even though they've gone to the original numbering, they've had reboots. And I hate the word reboot. So, Ninja Spawn. Yep. Nice cover. Variant. I love it. It's one of my, So, it's always, comics are always a good way to escape. I know people like adults, oh, you read comics. I'm like, yeah. And you read books. So, I don't see a difference. I like seeing the action shots with the wording. I can use my imagination. I can write. I know I can. I've been told I can by many people, including teachers. But, it's just one of those things that, I like to be able to escape into a comic and not worry about, everyday depressing things. It's not good for my psyche and my conditions. So, living in a unbelievable world is not a bad thing. So this is the first episode. Number 2 will be next week, hopefully, and we'll be talking about G.I. Joe and Larry Hama and some characters. I'll even write down, my top 5 all time heroes and villains of G.I. Joe, and some might be a little shocking, some not. So just let you give it a heads up. And this is Chris Ellis Comic Pen, and we're signing off. And everybody have a good night. Bye.